good news and the bad news. Are
All
y'all
right,
ready for it?
all right, Spark. Yeah, we ready for good news, bad news. Give it to me early.
All right. Well, I've named this Canada bans assault rifles. Now, usually when a mass shooting occurs, legislation goes through a litany, you guys, of what we should do and what we shouldn't do just to prevent another tragedy. Well, Prime Minister of Canada, he ain't having it. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau banned assault weapons in a wake of a deadly mass shooting. This comes after a gunman in Nova Scotia murdered 22 people on April 18th and 19th in over 12 hours. The shooter used a semi automatic rifle and a semi automatic handgun, and it's believed that many of these guns came from the United States. Now, Trudeau says that these weapons were designed for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to kill large amount of people in the shortest amount of time. So Mr. Trudeau says there is no use and no place for such a weapon in Canada. Now, it's also speculated that 72,000 Canadians own over 100,000 firearms, and they'll all be affected by the ban.
Hmm.
So they're not playing.
Wow, wow, that's
Yeah,
wow.
that's heavy.
Yeah, that's real heavy.
But I can agree. I'm not sure if anybody knows like what their crime rate is, but if they have a high crime rate, maybe that's a good idea
Well,
that
I
they do
think
it.
Canada just the way they're a little more outstanding than the U.S. Their health, in regards to
Mhm.
universal health system, education.
Right.
I mean, once they set the bar for something, they do it.
Yeah, you know
Hmm.
what? Yeah. I'm a advocate for people who have the right to bear arms. I'm not so sure about assault weapons. I mean, you talking about like you're going to war. Like that's not necessarily a good thing per se. You don't need those type of guns in this inner cities. In the you don't need that. I just
Yeah.
that's just kind of like my take on it. But I mean, who knows? Shout out to You said Canada, right?
Canada, yeah, Prime
Shout out to
Minister
Canada.
Justin Trudeau. And that's what his thing
Yeah.
is. He's
Mhm.
saying, listen, you can still go hunting without using an assault rifle on a deer.
Right.
Like this is for mass shooting of that's what the purpose is, to kill a lot of people in a short amount of time. And
Right.
he's banning them.
Wow.
But the crazy
Mhm.
part is
Hmm.
that he's saying that most of those weapons didn't even come from Canada. They came from the US.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that was good news though, that
Oh,
they're,
okay. I told you
yeah,
about the good bad news stuff. Yeah.
I like
bad.
that one.
Yeah, that was basically good news saying that, US may need to follow in this. Now this is some bad news. Over 100 dead bodies were found in New York. Well, we all know that New York is the epicenter and ground zero for the pandemic of the coronavirus. So imagine you guys living on a block where there's a horrible stench and you don't know
Mm.
where it's coming from during this pandemic. Okay.
Mm.
Now, Brooklyn, New York's police department received a call that a pungent smell was on Utica Avenue. Now, when police arrived, they found several dozens of dead bodies in an unrefrigerated U-Haul truck behind a funeral home. The
Mm.
funeral owner, Andrew Klecky, said in an interview, like other funeral directors in New York City, I've been overwhelmed by the relentless tide of bodies during this pandemic. Mr. Klecky also goes on to say that he only used the truck for overflow storage only after he filled his chapel with more than 100 corpses.
Mm, mm, mm.
The New York Times reports it's not clear whether these bodies belong to people who died from COVID-19, but the funeral home does not have any previous complaints, but it is under investigation and it may receive fines or have their license suspended.
Wow.
Mm. That's sad
Wow. Yeah,
because
that
it's
is.
like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you reach out to another funeral home and say, hey, who's probably having like the same issue that you're having, like, hey, can you take some of these bodies? Like,
I believe that's what they probably wanted him to do. I mean, he has to know that anyone knows that a corpse is going to start to smell if it's not embalmed, especially if it's not on, some type of ice.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. I know I
So,
would be
And
livid if I had a
I
family
wish.
member who I
Yeah.
know have passed away at a particular hospital, and right outside that hospital, there's a U-Haul truck, and we are with the understanding that is dead bodies in that U-Haul truck. I would be livid, livid. You won't give
yeah,
me the opportunity to bury my loved one, but you have it sitting in the U-Haul truck, a
Hmm.
unrefrigerated truck at that. I have a problem with that.
exactly. Right.
Yeah. I
And it's
think,
already,
go ahead, Sizzle.
no, you go ahead.
No, I just was saying, I think that even getting the U-Haul truck right there told them that they couldn't handle it. So
Yeah,
why would they not reach out for help?
yeah,
What were
Yeah.
you about to say, Sizzle?
I was just gonna say I feel bad for like the family members because if they died of COVID-19, then I'm pretty sure like the family members weren't there when they passed because you know how they keep them away from the family members, and then the funerals you can't invite everybody, you can't have like a large gathering, and it's just a lot to deal with, all at the same time. And then here you are, like, handling uh these bodies, like, or my family member's body, like it's trash, like, or something like that, which I'm sure he probably ran out of options. But
yeah.
from the family's perspective, they probably be looking at it like, really, like,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was your good news and your bad news by Classy Lady Sparkle.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Lauren Sizzle and Classy Lady Sparkle. And have you subscribed to our channel yet? If the answer is no, you need to subscribe now. Yeah, so stop what you're doing, go right now and subscribe. We like you, you like us, so go ahead and subscribe. Come on over, be a part of the family of We Talk Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now.